ending, tapos let's do another track na ginagawa, oh.
Well, Stereodeal came together around 2008. That year, kasi I formed this band called Stereodeal with a couple of other musicians. Tapos, wala kaming bass. We didn't have a bass player at that time. So, I went to the good old online resource, filmmusic.com. So, as usual, I went to the musician classifieds message boards. And, I saw this guy named Green Wilton, looking for a band.
When I posted a shout out that I'm looking for a band, a bassist, and I got a phone call from this guy named Adrian. I can't forget, he was in a taxi cab during that time.
Yeah, when I saw this guy's qualifications, I called him up, and apparently it was Dax Gonzaga, the taller Dax. And and I shared with him my tastes. I told him I was into Steve Burns and Raining Lips and Radiohead and U2 and Block Party and Cure and Pupil. That slew of bands, and apparently he was into it as well.
Initially, Stereodeal was not Stereodeal. It was Stereolalas. So, but eventually, he had to disband.
Anyway, the band didn't last long. So, yun. It ended, but I still wanted to continue because I still had a lot of music to put out. We weren't able to maximize what we wanted to do.
Then, I stayed with Adrian because I like his musicality, and somehow he's different. And I liked it. I don't see any reason why I should leave the band or look for another band.
And Dax still had that fire, that passion to do it, and I saw in him an equal as far as the approach to music is concerned. So we proceeded with it, and we got together with a couple of other musicians.
I can't forget the time when he met this guitarist, Rob
Manaki, who's now with Pulso, and Kiko Tuason, who used to still plays drums for the Rocks and No Runs, and that was the first lineup of Stereodeal.
I remember a time when Rob and Adrian went out. They saw Kiko playing, and they said, "I want someone like that." They asked Kiko, and then Kiko said yes, and then that's it. Stereodeal was born. Can't forget that.
Of course, things happen. People leave. People have different priorities. There are different approaches to music, and the lineups changed throughout the years. After the initial foursome, we became a threesome, a three-piece band, and I had to adjust my playing. At first, I didn't want to continue singing because I have to admit I only sang with this band by default because no one wanted to sing.
Well, I was sessioning for them 2 years ago. And, ayun. Siguro wala sila ibang makuha. Hindi, yun. Nag-stun siguro nila ako. And then, yun, nung umalis na si Canada, na kami pumalat.
And then, we started jamming with Marie, who we met by our friend Mayo Baluyot because she drummed for Mayo Baluyot. Great drummer si Marie. But I thought baka hindi niya kami matripan, baka he might be too weird for her or something like that. Si Chris Cantada, who used to be with Sponge Cola, at the time he was a solo artist, and I was also sessioning for him as a guitar player. But when he saw Marie with us in one gig at Hard Rock, he said, "You know what? You fucking need me." the way, si Dax Balmeo came in. He sings for Paranoid City. And when Rob left the band 5 years ago, si Dax Balmeo actually volunteered to join us. Or, you know what, I want to play guitar for you. But at the time, I was a fan of his band and Valley Parking. I didn't want to parang drag him away from all that because his band Valley Parking was awesome. I was a fan of that band.
Been bugging Adrian to let me play guitars, and he didn't want to because he wanted me to sing instead, and I didn't want to. I want to play guitar.
There's many different kinds of producers, and I'm the kind of guy who just wants to guide the process along. And if I hear, let's say, I hear a song, it's like there are certain details that I will point out that would, make the song more dynamic, more, or get closer to what the song's all about. Because there are producers also who step in and kind of tell the band what to do, and I was never that kind of a producer.
And si Francis came in, was very helpful. Tapos naging magandang exchange of ideas between the three of us. Parang my vision, and si Francis understood that vision, and he knew what was going to happen. He subjected me to days and days of Nine Inch Nails and Muse DVDs and Queen DVDs and Japan. Yung mga ganung bagay. And
I never felt like he was looking down on me as a producer or as a guitar player. It was more on like just telling me to hit the strings harder or add more oomph to it. And I never really felt like an ant while I was playing my recording with him. It was just more about while I'm playing my guitar, I'm looking at him and it's like, this is Francis fucking Reyes. So like it was more of a battle with myself rather than him to me.
Actually, with Stereodeal, when I first formed Stereodeal, parang doon pa lang long-term planning na ako. When I was starting to write the first few songs of Stereodeal, actually the first two songs were The Spin and Hypertime, which incidentally had similar chords. I started at Experience Studios, and one of the first studios I approached was Skunk Productions. That was owned by Dodgy Garcia.
Well, initially, it started out as me being the sound engineer, the tracking engineer. What we thought was Kiko, Francis Reyes, the Francis Reyes, would like be the overseer of everything in the recording. Then eventually found out that there was a lot of exchanging ideas between Adrian, the leader of the band, and Francis, and eventually I tried to step in,
Si Dodgy laging may bagong knowledge na ini-impart sa amin, which we really enjoyed.
I will rise, but I need you to believe, to get what we deserve, the rights of our lives, the fights of our lives.
Marie is she's a gentle yet strong being. I find her playing very, very impressive.
Well, Mayo is super fun.
With Dax, my co-name, very quiet he's a very quiet guy, but at the same time, he can talk for hours and hours on end, and that's what I love about him. Like he's always excited.
Adrian, super intelligent and dedicated as a character.
According to theoretical physicists, a singularity is that infinite point in space and time. That infinitely dense point where everything exists all at the same time. The little tiny point. But it's obvious that little tiny point makes things possible, infinitely possible. So that's what Stereodeal is. We're a band that explores possibility.